Hello, kiddos. Mama Lou here. And I wanted to do a reading for, things that are coming up. Maybe kind of in the next week or something like that. I mean, this will be a pretty timeless reading. When you're meant to hear it, you're going to hear it. But I wanted to be able to do something a little bit more in-depth and long form for anybody who follows me on TikTok or anything like that, where I'm only able to get like 3-minute segments in. It's really hard to get down to like the nitty gritty of what is actually going on in people's lives or what messages it is that I'm actually getting when I'm only able to get a few words out. So I just wanted to pull some cards and kind of get a feel for that. We'll also pull some clarifiers and stuff too, some the mixtape oracle, just so that you guys can have a little bit more info. And it looks like that's what they got for me so far for this one. So the first card you got is the Queen of Swords. There's something here that you're feeling very determined about, is the energy I'm getting from this. There's something here where you're not budging. It doesn't matter what anybody else's opinion is. It doesn't matter what anybody else is telling you. It's almost like you have this gut feeling like whatever is happening right now, I know my own mind. I know what I'm going to do. I have a plan. I have it all figured out. Like you've got your shit together. Like you've got a list and you've got your supplies or, whatever this is. And you're just like, no, I totally understand where you're coming from, but no, I'm not budging. No, I'm not doing anything different. No, you can tell me and I'll listen. And if anything's compelling enough, I'll at least consider it and mull it over a little bit. But there is something in here that you are just focused on, focused and determined. This could be in work or in business. It could even be in your path, because I'm feeling a little bit of this know thyself, like I know who I am now. It may even be like an epiphany that you've had recently where you're like, oh, I'm good with myself now. Like, this is awesome. Like, I know who I am. It's all clear now. Like, whatever it's been that's fogging you up and then kind of making you feel like you couldn't make a choice or that you couldn't really move or you couldn't move forward with something or whatever this is. But I mean, she is just finally confident. I'm feeling lots of energy of confidence and just almost like a relief of like, okay, now I can take charge of this. Now I'm in control of this. It's like she took her freaking power back, and she's like, oh no, you can't like gaslight me. You can't fool me. You can't shake me. Like none of that is going to happen here because it clicked. I figured it out. You can't go back from that once you kind of have one of those like labyrinth moments, where you're like, you have no power over me, and you're just like, oh, well, I guess I can just take control now. I guess I can just be, the one holding the reins in this whole regard. Which is actually pretty cool. So let's get some clarifiers to kind of expand on that one a little bit before we move on to the other ones. Like I said, these are just kind of main themes that are coming up. It is a collective reading. Take what resonates, let go of whatever doesn't. I shouldn't be telling you anything new. It should all just be confirmation or resonating as the universe sees fit for each individual person. So like I said, this is just messages that I just get. And so the cards kind of just help me see things a little bit easier. All right. You got the King of Cups here. This is also very good with the Queen of Swords because, yeah, the Swords is very, people call it like she's a little bit more of the cooler, calculating, persona of a queen, or, she's a little bit closer to like the Justice card of where, yes, I'm not going to be swayed by my emotions. This is a 100% mental decision, but I always kind of think that the Queen of Swords, I mean, that energy can be swayed if it is a good argument, if it's a solid argument. You're not going to deal with bullshit arguments, but if someone is compelling enough and they can tell them something, they can take a step back and actually readjust, and they may come out with the same outcome or the same decision or the same, viewpoint or whatever, but they did pause, they listened, they heard, they went through their internal steps to decide whether or not that was something that was enough to change their mind or not. So, and the King of Cups is someone who is in control of their emotions. They don't like they've accepted them all, the good, the bad, the ugly. They've accepted all of them, but they don't let their emotions control them. They're accepting of them, but they're in control of them. They, not like in a, I'm going to just stuff all these feelings down. No, this person has made it all the way to the king status. They've gone through some shit. They know how to deal with all kinds of ups and downs. They understand that they are human, that they are going to feel certain things, that they are going to see, that they are going to experience different things in life, because that's just the world we live in. And they don't fight against the feelings that they have. They acknowledge them and they express them in a, gracious way. They don't put blame on other people. It's all very accepting and understanding type of a feeling. So these two together is very much like, yeah, I know my own mind, but also I may be using my head to think about this, but I'm not completely displacing my emotions. I have just matured enough to understand that my emotions are part of me, but I'm connecting the two. I'm not making them fight against each other. I'm actually just centering them together. So a lot of like throat to heart chakra type of, even crown, like pretty much the uppers is what I'm getting from this one, which I think is actually pretty cool. So this could be in a lot of different things where it could be in, friendships where you're, seeing things for as they actually are, and you're not getting hurt feelings if someone else is going through a hard time, or you're encouraging someone, even if they're maybe not asking you something, but you just can kind of sense, you have that empathicness part that the King of Cups has, where you're like, I know that just talking to them and saying, yeah, that doesn't make sense, or that makes perfect sense, or you should totally do this because that's the right way to do it. They can speak to them coming from the heart rather than just blasting them with truth bombs or something like that. This one has a little bit more finesse, a little bit more of the smoothness, so that it can actually be received and heard. That's another great thing about the King Cups. Like they know how to get those I feel conversations going and how to keep them going and to be productive. So, like I said, this could be in like a friendship. This could also be in love, in the way of, you're not just dismissing, like, let's say you see a big bunch of red flags or something like that. You're not dismissing those red flags at all. Not when you're all connected and everything is, you're not shutting things down. You're not putting on blinders. You're not trying to be like, oh, no, I'm not gonna think about that. Or, or not want to have a difficult conversation, Queen of Swords energy can be a little harsh, a little serpent tonguey with the way that they put things, But that blending with the King of Cups is going to help having unnecessary arguments, unnecessary disagreements, saying things you don't really mean. So I'm really getting this theme here with this group right here of a more metered approach to conflict, a more metered approach to conversations, a more metered approach with yourself, being hard on yourself, but also loving yourself. You know, like those things are hard to put together. Like you can have standards for yourself. You don't have to completely just let yourself get away with any fucking thing you want to, but you also can be compassionate enough with yourself to allow, I am human. I'm going to think these things. I'm going to say, I'm going to, you know, have to, I'm trying to think, like, have to go through some of these things. Mentally, I know that I need to do that. So let me mix those two together. Let me try and soften this to myself even. So I'm getting a lot of that energy. The second card that came up was the Knight of Cups. Definitely could be an offer of romance, friendship coming in for you. It feels very, and this card, of course, would kind of bring that up, but it feels a bit chivalrous. And this is not a gender specific reading. Many people can be chivalrous. Like, this is not about that. It's almost like an old school feeling, like those old black and white movies is kind of that idea that's coming up in my head. I don't really know why. But it also feels like this person is coming up to you. The thing that's really drawing my eye right now and the message that I'm getting is you see this person and they're coming across this beautiful like field right here. And then there's this beautiful stream. And then it's like harsh, rocky mountains. And I feel like this thing is coming to you and it feels like you're kind of the porcupine in it. Like you got some rough edges, like you may have put up some walls, you may be a little guarded, and those things are all okay because most people do that out of protection for themselves, or they've experienced something bad in the past, or it's just a learned behavior that has come along with whatever life you've led. Everybody's got stories and a path, and so it's not a judgment on you being guarded or having your walls up or anything, which is why it's almost like I'm getting this vision in my head of like in an old movie where someone's like standing outside singing a song to someone, or whatever, but you're in the now, like now society, and you're like going, oh my goodness, that's cheesy as shit. Like that's the weird vibe I'm getting. I have no idea what that means. I'm going to pull some clarifiers for it, but that was the initial vibe I got. The other thing is that this could be you offering to share part of yourself with someone. If this is you in this, I also see this as possible opening up to someone, whether that is, a family member, a friend, your tribe, your spiritual team. This could even be, therapy or some sort of group where you kind of take this step of just, it's time. It's time. It's time for me to let this out. It's time for me to share this. And you're doing it slowly but methodically because you're almost, you're sitting here holding all these emotions in your hand, like, this is what I have, and you're kind of waiting for them to be like, oh, awesome. Hey, thank you for giving that to me. But you're a little wary. And I get that from the mountains there, where you might be feeling a little wary because maybe you've been burned before, where you have opened up to someone. You just bared your heart to someone and they like smashed it or like just pulverized you. And now you're a little, triggered or shy or something about doing that again. Like there's something about, I don't know if I can handle going through that again. And so it feels like you may have, maybe like, okay, well, maybe this time will be different, but you're still unsure. So you're kind of just like, is this okay? So I want to get some cards for that one and see what pops up for the Knight of Cups. But like I said, it could be a lot of different things. It seems like it could be an offer. It could be you offering something to someone. You could be offering support to someone in need. You could be offering your love to someone. You may be telling someone you freaking love them today. I don't know. But whatever it is, that's what popped up. Because, yeah, you got the Two of Wands. You are just on the brink of something. Like you are just right on the edge of something. You have the Two of Wands there. You're in that dreamy state. You're in that planning state. You're in that preparation state. This feels almost like you're preparing yourself for whatever is coming next or whatever's coming at you. Or this is you almost like they have the world in their hands. So it almost feels like you're almost ready to step back out into that, whatever this is, whatever this thing that you're offering. You're almost ready to take that next step, whether it is to share your world with someone else, offer your world to someone else, offer the moon and stars to someone else, you know, or you're sitting there, but because it's like sitting on the roof, it's like you're expectant, but you haven't left your house yet. Like you're getting as high up and as close as you can to just kind of following that dream or following that goal or whatever that is. But you're still just sitting and waiting. And it may feel like you've been waiting for a while because you just like, I want it to be just the right time. I don't want to make a fool out of myself and say something or do something. I mean, that would just embarrass me to death. So you're just like, you are trying to, like I said, even here, where you are trying to make something, like you got lists, you got plans, you got all this stuff, you know. So whatever this is it feels like pregnant with expectation. That's the message I'm getting. The thing that I get with that too, though, is that sitting there and looking at all that stuff and you know, it almost looks like, you know, spinning those things around your head. That's all well and good. You know, practice, I guess, makes perfect. I don't necessarily agree with that. Sometimes you just got to freaking just go and fly by the seat of your pants, because if you're just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting for, you know, an in or someone to prompt you or someone to start the conversation for you so you don't have to do it, or the perfect moment or the most romantic time that you can come up with, you know, sometimes it doesn't need to be that big. Now you've created this whole big thing for yourself. And these are kind of all over the place, these two. So this is maybe just kind of embracing that fact, because I'm trying to think if there's anything else. That's kind of what I'm getting. They want me to move on. So, because then you got the Seven of Pentacles. And this kind of plays right back, you know, this kind of all is leading into this. Okay, you put in the work. Now what are you doing? You're just staring at it. You're reevaluating it. You're going over it again. You're looking at it again. Well, how long are you going to just sit there and look at it? Is it time to, you know, start harvesting all this stuff that you've been working on? Is it time to put into effect all the work that you've been doing? Is it time to, I don't know, try and move forward maybe? Or are you going to just sit there and keep staring at it and mulling it over until it fucking rots and you don't got anything? I mean, like, I'm being harsh, but you know what I mean? But just kind of, it's okay to look at it and be like, look at all this stuff I've done. But what are you going to do with it? You can't just hoard it all to yourself. You can't just keep it all to yourself. Like, oh yeah, I did all this work, you know, okay. How have you grown? Okay, you gathered all the stuff, but how are you growing? How are you moving beyond this? How are you getting to the next step? How are you getting to the 8, the 9, to the 10 of Pentacles, which is just like arriving, you know? You're just sitting here thinking. You're kind of just sitting there thinking like, oh, this will be great. Once I, you know, harvest all this, I'll be, you know, awesome. Okay, get harvesting. Get harvesting. So let's see what card pops up with this one. This also could be in an actual job or work where you're seeing all the work that you're doing and you're trying to decide if it's paying off. Is it worth it? Am I getting what I need to out of it? Am I going anywhere? Am I sitting still? Have I been in the same thing and so monotonous? And some people like that. But if you're like, if that's not your jam, then just sitting and staring at it and continuing to do it and staying in that cycle where you're just in this machine, how is that helping you move forward? Is it enough so that you can have a side hustle? Is that it? Is it enough for you to, get excited about something? I don't know. Because you got, what was I just saying? You got the Ten of Pentacles. You can't stay here if you want to get to here. You can't stay here. You can't have a king's mentality when it comes to the King of Pentacles. He knows his worth. He knows his value. He sees the beauty in the world, and he wants to enjoy it, love it, experience all kinds of things. Because then you also got the Ten of Cups, because guess what? The more experience you have, the more you actually live life instead of just go through it. You get the Ten of Cups. It's one of the best cards in the freaking deck. It's the Ten of Cups. So it feels like this is like a crossroads card. Do you want to keep doing what you're doing? Or do you want to take what you've learned and move forward? Could be either of those things. Ten of Cups is also a great card for, wishes coming true, dreams coming true, finally feeling comfortable with yourself, especially with these two that we got at the beginning. This is definitely you feeling in your element. This is you creating your own path. This is you following your own dreams. You're not really, you have people around you, but you're okay by yourself too. You don't need these other people to be okay. And with these two together, that's the combination I'm seeing, is that you're emotionally fulfilled and you're a complete person on your own. Everybody else is just bonus. So I think that's actually quite interesting. It does feel like with this one, though, is some sort of crossroads. And you might be feeling this because of whatever this aha moment that you had over here, of where you're like, okay, I can keep doing things the exact same way I've been doing it, just sticking with convention. It's, it's working all right. I'm not like ecstatically happy, but I'm not like upset. It's just, it feels very vanilla, whatever this stage is, when deep down it really looks like you do not want vanilla. You don't deserve vanilla. You deserve to have excitement. You deserve to have love. You deserve to have stability and abundance and protection and spiritual lessons. And I don't know, it just seems really, really positive. But these are the themes that I'm really getting as far as this next week goes. And I was going to pull some cards for these too, so that we can have something to listen to this week. I'm going to just pull until they tell me that we're done. So the first one that we have is My Backwards Walk by Manchester Orchestra. I will try and put all these in the comments. You can see on the card that you get the name and the artist and then like a key phrase. But then they have like these talking points here about how each song can kind of resonate with you. And the thing is that songs and music speak to everybody completely differently. Completely differently. Some people, will hear the exact same song and will feel completely different about it. Someone's like, oh, that was rad. And another person's like, that just made me cry. Or another person is like, I didn't get it. So whatever it is that's speaking to you, I highly recommend you try and listen to these if you can. Let's see here. All right, that one came out earlier this week on one of the TikToks, but we'll see. And I think it's all interesting. They're all pinks and like all different shades of pink. So that might be a good color for you if you want to use that to kind of help resonate with the reading. Like rose quartzes, or if you do color magic or things like that, you can do that. Okay. I gotta make sure that was the last one. So yeah, burn a pink or rose candle, all kinds of stuff. You can fill up your put your water in a pink bottle and put it out in whether you're a sun baby or a moon baby, and then infuse it with that energy and then drink it. Everybody's got their things and how they deal with stuff, but all right. So yeah, the first one was My Backwards Walk by Manchester Orchestra. The next one was When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish. Let's Just Let It Go. Let Me Let You Go. Yeah. I Don't Know My Name by Grace Vanderwaal. I Now Know My Name. So that very much feels like this card right there. This one's fun. Old school. Ridin Solo by Jason Derulo. Now I've made it through the weather. Better days are going to get better. So that one's fun. And then this one did come up on TikTok this last week. Skin and Bones by The Wind and the Wave. You break your own heart in half. You fall in love too fast. So like I said, I'm going to put all those down in the description so that you guys can listen to them at your leisure. But I hope that that was helpful for you guys. Like I said, take what resonates. Listen to some songs. Have a good time. Mama Lou loves you very much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.